Hi, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Lisa, and we're Creative for Learning.
Today we're having a conversation about all those grammar errors in student essays and how to save hours of time and sanity while grading them. It's so difficult. We know the feeling, right? We've got the stack of essays in front of us and an enormous mug of coffee or some other beverage of sanity, and we're grading. Not at home, of course, because we drew that permanent line back in the sand in episode 3, and this feeling overcomes us. We can't even help ourselves. There's this huge disturbance in the force, and it's the grammar errors in this essay, and this one, and this one. Okay, almost all of them.
And we feel like we need to fix them all, and we have good reason that we think we need to fix them. Like the learners need to know how to use correct grammar in life, or they'll get mocked on TV or social media, or won't get hired.
Totally mocked.
I wanted to name some politicians.
You just gotta, this is one of my favorite mugs right here. See that? Then I don't have to say that I'm correcting their grammar. Just hold the mug up.
Some learners have even told us they actually want to know the errors they made.
I used to when I was in school. If we leave a grammar error uncorrected, it means we think it's okay for them to use incorrect grammar.
If we leave a grammar error uncorrected, another teacher or parent or admin might see it and think we're incompetent.
We need to prove to our students and parents, all those shadows, the reason they earned the grade they did or didn't. And if we don't mark up a whole bunch, they'll think they deserve a higher grade.
Mm-hmm. They won't know what to fix if we don't tell them. And these reasons and any others in your mind might all be true to some extent, but they can all be overcome, and none of them are reasons to grade grammar in every essay you grade. That might be a big concept. You ready for it? Okay, so let's talk about when we should grade the grammar and when we shouldn't.
Yeah, when we should and when we shouldn't. To do that, we need to separate the steps of the process and actually see each step as separate. Ideating is not outlining, is not drafting, is not editing, is not publishing. And there's only one step in the process that we, the teacher, should care about their grammar, maybe.
So you're talking about the writing process.
The whole writing process, from beginning to end.
Because worrying about grammar kills the idea process for many people. Ideating and editing must be kept different. All those marks on their paper just tells them that their ideas suck and kills the creative energy. It kills their desire to play, to explore, to idea adventure. It makes them afraid to get their ideas down on paper because their ideas might be wrong. Even though we know wrong grammar doesn't mean wrong ideas, they don't feel that when they see all the marks on their ideas.
And that's because the ideas and the grammar are different parts of the process. All the first stages of the process are about helping them get their ideas onto paper and into better flow, better logic, better persuasion, all that. And if we have them thinking about their spelling and commas and all that crap, then we kill them.
Mm-hmm. But wait. Even back in second grade, my learners were tested on their writing. And in their writing...
And the grammar, right?
It was grammar. Okay. There was it must be this certain level. It had the little rubric.
Mm-hmm.
So on that test, they have to do all the stages in one sitting, basically. And they only had one shot, so...
Yeah, we had similar rubrics in middle school when I was teaching there. And you're exactly right. That is the one stage of the process when the grammar absolutely matters and needs to be correct. When they publish. And testing is one of those times. It's a publishing stage. The publishing stage is last. So we have to scaffold them to that level. That's one of the bummers of testing, is that very few places in real life do we have such a rushed and pressurized writing process. We all know that.
Because it's basically asking them to do each step of the process just
all in one time.
Yeah.
And that never happens unless you're on live TV.
Yeah.
Like for real, that's the only time in real
Yeah.
life that I can think of where like you're doing a live speech or a live anything. Like even when the president does a speech, his writers edited the whole thing and put it on a glass teleprompter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the only time you do the whole process is in a live interview where you don't practice the interview beforehand. So the testing thing doesn't equip them for a real life scenario, but it does equip them for the real life process.
So what you're saying is, in all the time when we're training them through how to ideate, outline, and draft, you're not worrying about grammar and spelling. They can still like get it right. I have all these pins. They can still get it right when they.
Hold on. Here, I'll put this back here. There we go. And then I'll hold on.
I've been jingling. I've been fiddling with them.
Okay.
If you've been listening to noise, so they can still. I'm still holding them. Okay, they can still get it right when they can. When they're writing, but we're not worrying about it in those beginning stages because those stages are about the ideas.
Yes.
Those stages are about the ideas.
We've got to keep them
grammar.
separate. Ideas, editing, different, right?
Okay.
Yes. Then once we've got the thing written and our ideas are revised and they're reordered, then we can polish things up and make them pretty. That's when we take the thing to publish. But that's also where the in-house state testing process messes things up and stops modeling real life.
Oh, testing. Okay, so let's go deeper on the idea of polishing. When we were talking the other day in the car, you went pretty deep on that process, and you went on one of your little fun rants.
Oh yeah.
Go for it.
It's a process I'm passionate about because I've learned it the hard way while writing and editing. I have 4 unpublished novels. We often combine the revising and editing stages into one stage, and they need to be kept separate whenever possible. And I think it's focusing on fixing the spelling and grammar that combines the stages. I call that polishing things up. This is when we switch from one side of the brain to the other side of the brain, right? Which science shows that girls are able to do more than boys are. So especially for boys who have the hardest time, more hard of a time in school focusing anyway, like letting them be able to work in one side of the brain and then switch to the other side of the brain is really, really helpful for boys. And I still think super helpful for girls, right? So polishing is when we're making things pretty so we can publish it.
So but the revising stage isn't there yet. Is that what you're saying?
Revising is just that. I love at one point I realized revising is revision. It's a revision. We have to be able to look at the ideas and the structure and the flow and the validity and the persuasiveness of the ideas in order to see what to keep, what to tweak, what to sledgehammer, and what to trash completely. And that's where spelling and grammar makes it hard to edit. When we focus on fixing all those little grammar parts in the revising stage, we're polishing our sentences up. And it makes it really hard to then tweak, sledgehammer, or trash them.
Because we've made them all pretty, and I could see how it could make you frustrated too, because all that grammar and spelling editing would end up a waste of time if you later deleted the sentences, paragraphs, or complete pages. I've done that before. Well, so I've been thinking about how I actually write, and I don't go through the process. I tend to be one of those, like, I keep rereading the sentence.
And it takes you forever.
And it takes me forever.
Yeah. And that's exactly, like, I remember how frustrating this was for me with one of my novels. I ended up editing the whole thing. Then I had to go back to, I think this is where I learned the revision process. I ended up deleting 75 pages.
What?
75 pages that I edited. And that hurt because those were pretty pages that sucked. Or they just didn't
pretty.
belong.
They were all...
No, they were pretty at that point because
okay.
I had like many, and it feels like a waste of time. But even worse, I think, for students is that it distracts the idea flow with a completely different mental process. Editing, ideating, and editing, even though they have lots of the same letters, are completely different. Right brain versus left brain. It's hard enough to use our brain, so let's keep ourselves in one hemisphere.
I love that because we're teaching them how to think. Literally.
Yes.
How they can maximize their thinking energies and flow into one side of the brain at a time.
Yeah, and I think that's vitally important. Like, I think I'm still learning that, and I'd love to pass that on to them. Then, after they finish the whole idea process and they're getting ready to publish, that's when you could switch sides of the brain, focus on all the grammar, or maybe just focus on the most recent grammar you taught. On this essay, you'll be graded on your comma usage with compound sentences. Make sure you use 10 commas with coordinating conjunctions or something like that.
I like the sound of that process. It feels super clean. It is funny. It was making me kind of chuckle as you were talking because I was realizing that I don't actually do that process. I make my sentences look pretty as I write, and it takes me forever. And then I still have the ideas swirling in my head if I hopefully don't forget them.
Or ever finish it at all. Yeah.
There's-
You gotta get the vomit stage, the idea vomit stage. Blah! Get it all out. It's gonna be crappy, and let it be crappy because you can't edit. Like you don't know what you have till you get it out. Like you gotta get the thing out, get it out on paper, let it suck. Everybody's sucks. Yours does too. You're no exception, right? Unless you're Ray Bradbury, we all hate you because you finished your novel in one draft.
What?
But for everybody else, it sucks the first time, and the second, and the third, and the fourth, and that's okay because it doesn't suck because you got it out.
All right.
That's the key.
So you're saying finish all those half-written blog posts. Just get the
Yes,
ideas out. Don't
sure.
make them perfect.
Then edit them later.
All
Right?
right.
There's no use editing them if you never even make them to.
I
If you're never
know.
going to publish them, why edit them? Just so in case somebody opens the file on your computer, then it looks pretty,
They'd be pretty.
and they don't judge you. Right? That's
No.
the whole. That's like part of my reason. I don't want them to see my in process sentences.
Conversation of the day. What grammar or spelling error do you compulsively feel you have to correct?
So put that down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, share this with a friend who needs an encouragement, and
Keep being awesome.
keep being awesome.